What are we talking about?
Game week 20 has just been done, and actually, it was a Man City top there. They've won. Liverpool have drawn.
Mm,
Arsenal have drawn. Chelsea have drawn. It's Man City 2 points up. Appreciate they're still in sixth, quite a long way away. Games are ticking off. Don't think they'll do it. And Pierce, even Arsenal drop points.
Yeah.
I've got to come on and straight away
uh,
that
getting rolled
penalty.
up immediately.
When you said game week 20, that made me feel a bit sick actually, because that's more than halfway through the season.
Yeah.
George,
I
sit back
digress.
now. Get the
No,
violin.
But
enough time's
Yeah.
passed. So I've calmed down a little bit. But I mean, look, I know particularly George will jump down my throat about this, but it's just another quite mad decision that I've never seen before. And I know loads.
Another.
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't seen anyone else get a second yellow for delaying the restart. We've had two. I haven't seen another team. Haven't seen it once, and I've never seen a penalty for a clash of heads. So
yeah,
there's three this season. I know everyone gets dubious decisions, but they might be, oh, was there enough contact, or was it on the line of the box, or was it the last man? The ones we've got this year, and maybe look, it might just be by chance. I'm not, I've got over the idea of mass conspiracy. It might be that Andy Taylor is just uh,
He's fucking terrible.
incompetent.
Any football fan could tell you he's useless.
But like I say, it's just they're just there's these decisions. Like, and I mean, I mentioned the last man. I guess that you could argue that was a fourth one maybe when Sleeper got sent off, and the very next day, I think it was in the Tottenham game, someone didn't get sent off exactly the same thing. It just seems that.
so yeah, the Liverpool Chelsea game you were talking about.
But it wasn't. We went through that at the time. The ball's going
Yeah,
through feet.
I mean,
It
fine. I don't
wasn't the
want to
same.
get hung up on ones from game week 3 or whatever. But again, I've just never seen it before. I've
Well,
never seen.
most Arsenal fans have got hung up on ones from game. Most Arsenal fans are going like 5 years back, saying, "Oh, look at this one that we had against
Yeah,
us as
no,
well."
I mean,
It's like,
I
why are
wasn't
you
that,
crying so much?
but
Every team has bad
I just think
decisions.
most if most football fans can put rivalry to one side, because I mean they I've seen it analysed on Sky, I've seen it analysed on Match of the Day, and they've all said never seen that before. Never in 30 years of football, they've never seen it before.
But it's also,
It was
Weird,
and
isn't it?
George here,
why
it's
those
crying,
don't,
it's crying, Pierce, it's crying more because you're only 1-0 up, right? And
yeah,
maybe
look, we
one
didn't
to
play
me is
well,
two
You weren't good
and
points
enough
I
dropped.
ultimately.
It's
deserve
two
to win the
points
game.
dropped. But if you were 2-0 up, George, I don't think Arsenal fans of Pierce would be shouting and
Well, of
screaming
course not.
because they've got the
Yeah,
3 points, right?
No.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
Hang
they
on.
they're
but
blaming
take it.
they they blame the
Take the
That's
result
not.
on
context of the
the
game aside, I think it's just a
Brighton were
really
probably the
bizarre
better
decision.
team in the game. Brighton
Yeah,
were
no,
probably
no,
the better team in
and
the
like I
game.
say, take the context of the game, the performance to one
No, it's
side,
just a
and look
decision.
at it in isolation. It's a weird decision.
It's
I've
a
never
bad
seen
decision.
before. I've
But
never
yeah,
seen
it's the fact that loads of Arsenal fans are crying conspiracy, and it's always the rest. But it's like
that.
you didn't play well enough to win. It was a
No, I
bad
agree.
decision,
I agree.
and
We got
it should. But there were bad decisions, countless bad decisions on the weekend. But it's always Arsenal fans that cry the
but
most over their decision.
can you understand why that decision is different to some of the others? The 50-50 penalty decision
But
wasn't
they're
like,
all bad decisions.
but again,
No,
it's
no.
just
I appreciate George.
that's unique. You must admit that's Saliba, a clash of heads. I've never seen it. I've never seen that before. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Maybe
it's just the refs. It's just the refs being incompetent. It
But
was also
also
no two incidents the
VAR
same. It
didn't
was just
step
a
in.
weird incident.
George,
Yeah, well,
VAR.
that's why I know. That's why because there is this high bar. That's why the decisions that they're now you're getting the wrong on field decision. They're not overturning them because they've got this high bar. Same as the Newcastle game. Same as the Chelsea game with our penalty. But it's always Arsenal fans that it's the biggest deal in the world. I mean, you didn't play well enough. We didn't play well. We should have won our game. We didn't. But and we should have got a penalty, and that probably would have helped us win the game. But ultimately, the fault lied with Arsenal. Brighton created arguably more than Arsenal, and they deserved their point. It was a point on
yeah,
merit.
no, look,
Okay, the
I
penalty
totally
changes
agree
the
on that.
game,
I
but
totally agree on that. Like I say, it's just these really obscure decisions that you've never seen before, or and you'll probably never see again, seem to land on Arsenal. I mean,
It's
I was,
also, George, I
we've had.
think, George, I also think it's the pressure on Arsenal to be up there competing, being number one, being top to win the league. And it's even more so that that pressure's there, that the fans are getting annoyed with any and every decision as
You know
well,
what, it
right?
could be, but do you know what? The more football content I consume, and the more sort of talking heads I listen to on YouTube and all the rest of it, I'm less convinced, more so now than I have ever been, about this narrative like Arsenal have to win the league. Arsenal have to win the league because
Yeah,
actually,
but you're
when you
saying that because of where you are.
no, no, no,
This
no,
was
no,
your
I've
season.
got, no, I
City have
promise you,
dropped off, and Liverpool have stepped up, and you've not delivered.
no, fine, fine. But the point is that if you start looking across the board, you'll hear the same narrative about every team. So I'm not as bothered now by drop points because you're always going to drop points. All you ever hear is, well, Chelsea have spent £1.5 billion in the last 2 years. They've got to be challenging. They've got to, and then you hear Man United. Well, it's Man United. They've got to be challenging. Every team can't win the fucking league. It just doesn't work like that. Like you've
Yeah,
got
but Piers, start of the season, would you have had Chelsea United challenging for the title? No, you wouldn't. You'd have had Arsenal challenging for the title. Probably City as main rival.
and you're building on that. But I mean, when you look at Liverpool, they've got a
But you
better,
can't. It's been
better option
disappointing.
than
So
us.
I think there's still a good chance you could win the league because I don't think Liverpool are that impressive. But
Agreed.
I mean, they're winning. But you have to admit you haven't been good enough this season
No,
so
no,
far.
I don't
It's
think we
below
have.
what you'd
But what I'm
expect.
getting to, I guess what I'm getting at is that there's no team who's got this God-given right to challenge or win the league. And the fact that we are challenging again and we're up there, you just got to enjoy the ride rather than getting hung up on like it has to be this year, we have to win it. It's like every team believes they're entitled. I don't want to start being like United, where it's like, well, we're Man United, we've got a God-given right to win the league. Like we haven't, and when you're not good enough, like we weren't against Brighton, you drop points and you slip away, and a team that is out.
I think the Arsenal fans themselves put the biggest pressure on, to be honest.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and that's why I've stopped doing that.
The
I'm just
Arsenal fans,
for
beginning of
what
the
it is.
season,
Do you know what I mean?
it's their loud brass. All those fans are like they put it on themselves, and then when it doesn't go their way, they cry flipping murder.
Yeah.
And Piers, I agree with you though. Like, I don't think there's a conspiracy against Arsenal, but some of the decisions, like they get the first, right? Like they get the dodgiest. Like this one, nobody's ever seen it come up. Come on,
no.
Like it's just not.
Yeah, but it's just a weird incident as well. And the VAR, they have got it wrong. They have got it wrong. But it's just, the thing is, elsewhere on the pitch, if somebody heads the ball and another player then heads into them, it'd be given a foul. But the fact that I think VAR has missed the fact that Saliba's actually touched it with his head because that makes it no chance it's a penalty. But if he doesn't touch it, I think VAR has just missed that. So I just think it's a mistake. I think he'll come out and then admit a mistake. Well, I know. Well, this is why. What's the point in even having VAR? Because how do they get it wrong so often? We have these discussions every single week over a VAR decision that they haven't overturned or they have overturned and they've got it wrong. It's just it's the officiating. It's not a conspiracy.
Some of the human elements of officiating as well. Like I say, it seems to be, and I don't want to keep banging on about decisions against us, but we seem to be harshly punished, and it's when it's us, it's the letter of the law. So Declan Rice, Trossard, both getting second yellows and sent off for delaying the restart. I've watched out for it, and in the Arsenal, I mean, I can only speak for the Arsenal games, but I played Brentford during the week, and one of their players stopped and delayed a restart, and the ref just came over and gave him a telling off. Like, well, it's either letter of the law or it's not. Why is it with Arsenal? They cannot wait to go, nope, letter of the law, you're gone.
Yeah, but there'll also be instances of Arsenal players who have delayed play and not been booked. No, it's just inconsistency.
We've had
twice. But are you telling me there's only been 2 occasions all season
that
Arsenal players delayed play?
For it, and we've stopped doing it. Trust me, because I mean Arteta, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, hopefully you've learned your lesson.
But it seems that no one else is picking up those same bookings. It seemed. I mean, look, if we get to the end of the season and we don't see another booking or certainly not a second booking for delaying the restart, I think I've got a fucking point because it's. But
I said this to you in the chat. Start of the season, they always bring in these new rules. You delay, like a couple of years ago, they said if you talk back to the ref, that's it. You get a yellow card. They enforced it for first 4 game week and ditched it. They said start of this season, if you delay play, you're getting a yellow card. They enforced it, bro, for the first 4 or 5 game weeks, and now they've dropped it again. It's just bad officiating. I think it's just getting read too much
into. And then you've got a microscope on it when it's your own team. I do agree. There's probably a bit of that, but it is just odd.
You have been unfortunate. I'll give you that. You have been. If it was Chelsea, I would be pissed off. But there's no conspiracy.
Hey, that as a win, George conceding that. Yeah.
And I'm gonna move on to the
Thank God.
Man United, probably the best 90 minutes I've seen him play this season, maybe even last season as well, to be fair.
Yeah, probably.
Is this
FA
you
Cup
guys
final, maybe.
clawing back?
Don't bring them out, Kulu.
No, it's we're too far off. We're clawing back right now, but they played well, and it, like Amarin said, it just annoys the hell out of you. Like, why this game? Like, all right, like we're expecting a thumping, and they pull this out, and yeah, he had the right players in and all that, but yeah, it's just annoying. Like, this isn't drawing or losing to Liverpool isn't the problem. It's when we have Southampton, like Arsenal, I think we got next in the cup.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. We lose to them, fine. It's the Southampton games and the rest of them. What do we do against them? Teams like Liverpool, I know we've been getting thumped and everything every time we play them, but they leave space, right? It's where can our players actually use their own brain? Is instead of just playing in the gaps that a team attacking them, and Liverpool missed a few. Like everybody's talking about how good United were, they missed a few chances. That Gakpo one outside right for the one-on-one. I can't remember who it was.
Missed the chance to win it.
Quiet, yeah.
I mean, but that's right at the end. But if you got Xerxes to Maguire, flipping it.
Xerxes always gets an hammer in from Cully, doesn't
he? Beautiful. Now, if that was Anthony, class. Now, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking like, yeah, you can find gaps against teams like Liverpool. You can, because they'll attack you.
Liverpool weren't at the race. I don't think Liverpool were fully at the races either. It was, yeah,
exactly, ride your luck. And I think we're all overplaying it. It was a lot better, but let's see what they do against Southampton. It's as simple as that.
Is that your next game, Southampton?
That's the next league game.
Yeah, you'll pump
Southampton. Go win that. Yeah.
I think
they're
useless. 6 points in 20
But
games.
this is the thing. United fans now, we're like, let's see what we do against them. Let's see if he plays Casemiro Ericsson together.
Well, yeah, it's like when you beat City, and then I think you lost 4 on the bounce. So, yeah, I can understand why you're not getting excited.
As you were getting on, you do suit those teams that come onto you, because you're still very much that counter-attacking team like you were under Ten Hag and you were under Ole.
Yeah. You know what? I've got no problem with being a counter-attacking side. We won leagues like that under Fergie. Why are they pretending like Fergie never did this? Arsenal used to have the ball all the time, and we'd play them on the counter.
But it's the small games. You've got to be able to control the small games at the same time. You can counter in the big games, but that's already. But in the small games, you've got to have that control.
The small games, we used to just hammer them, like keep knocking on the door, keep knocking on the door. Now we don't even get on the bloody pathway to the drive. Like, we're not even on the same side of the road. We're just fucking about, and we're dog shit. So let's see. I'm not getting overly excited. We'll get I expect a thumping every time we play. Xerxes coming on the pitch. I don't get, all these United fans, we're going to applaud
Xerxes.
Honestly, you know what that is? I tell you what, it's a problem in British society, right? This is what happens on Britain's Got Talent when those parents take their shit kids and they're like, oh, you're amazing. And they go on and they're crap as anything, but the parents have been telling them, oh, you're amazing. And they go on stage and they're dog shit, and Simon Cowell tells the kid, like, you're crap and all this. That's what you
What did he do wrong in the game, though?
Everything. The guy can't even pass 2 yards. Honestly, he can't even pass to the end of a strand of hair on his head.
His movement was good, though, wasn't it? For that move.
The guy's moonwalking everywhere at top speed, and Jesus, honestly, okay, I don't want to cuss him, and I feel like I am, but he's just. I just can't believe he's there. And on top of that, I've heard that Juve want to swap Vlahovic. I'd actually swap a bowl of pasta for him, right? It can be plain, no tomatoes, nothing, no salt, blandest, like English people like it anyway, blandest thing on the menu. Swap him for that, right? He's terrible. He's terrible. he's possibly the worst player I've seen United side. I'd put him up there with
that's
Bebe.
bold.
Well,
Yeah, I was
Bebe.
going to say Bebe. Yeah, Anthony
Or Changzi Dong or whatever his name was.
Chong.
Dong. Chong was better than him.
But yeah, we do need to touch on Liverpool and especially Trent. What was Trent doing that game?
I told you,
gone,
his,
isn't it?
his mind's on 300 grand a week. That's what
Yeah.
He made Dallo look like Bobby Carlos. That's how bad he was.
Bobby Carlos.
He was bombing
No,
it
he
down.
was useless. He didn't look like he didn't look like he gave a fuck, to be honest. Coming back, he wasn't trying. He was giving the ball away. He gave it away, obviously, for the equaliser. He was shocking.
Everything was going down that side, wasn't
it's
it?
really, even his mind, because he had an interview a little while ago, and he was like, "I'd rather win the Ballon d'Or than win a Champions League with Liverpool." And so all the fans are like, "Well, you're being selfish here. It's doing a bit."
Yeah,
It's weird. That's a Marcus Rashford type thing.
yeah, that is, isn't it?
So it is.
AC Milan after Rashford now, so there might be a Jal Frazee, good clear out. So
On that note, thank you very much, guys.